Good afternoon and welcome aboard here on the Florida Tech Sports Network on what is a very busy afternoon here in Melbourne. We're glad you could stay with us here. Jerry Durney with you as we are in the bottom of the second inning, and Florida Tech picking up from where they left off last night. They put up a 5 spot in the first, and they have jumped Tampa early once again today, and they're looking for more of the same. They have the leadoff man on here in the second inning thanks to a single up the middle on the first pitch to James Gronberg, and that sets it up for Jacob Boozer, who's ahead in the count 1-0. He started that. It was a double to the warning track and left in the dirt by Rodney Bernard. He moved to third on a wild pitch. James Gronberg walked. Boozer then singled over the head of the first baseman Allewine. That brought home Bernard to give Florida Tech the lead. Gronberg went to third. Dylan Owens followed with a single to right to make it 2-0. Alec Eldridge and Blaise Maris both walked. Jacob Newton then had a seeing eye single to left. That would plate Owens to make it 3-0. And that actually chased the Tampa starter, Tanner Foster, before he recorded an out. Vincenzo Catanza struck out looking. Pedro Rivera would hit a sac fly, and Rodney Bernard would then fly out to right to end the inning. But so the Panthers sent 10 to the plate in that first inning. And again, they knock out the Tampa starter, Foster, before he retired a batter. Just a surreal start to the game if you're Florida Tech, and really building off the good feeling of that late win last night when they scored 4 in the 8th to upend the number 1 team in the country 6-5. They've kept it going here, and the chatter amongst the stands in that first inning is, it's Tampa, it's the first inning. This is far from a safe lead, and I think the Panther lineup has hopefully gotten that message. You'd love to keep tacking on here, put this game out of sight, and hopefully clinch a series win going into the second game of the doubleheader. Runner goes here on the 2-0, and they caught him flat-footed. The shortstop Earhart's got it. Low throw to first is in time. That gets Boozer, but it'll move Gronberg over to second. A bit of a fortunate break for Florida Tech there. It hit off the glove of Peralta. So here's the defensive alignment for Tampa here in Game 1. Yorvis Torrealba is in left field. Steven Smith is in center. In right is Stevie Mangrum. Across the infield, it's Nick Durr at third base. Drew Earhart is at shortstop. At second base is Nick DeTringo. I mentioned the first baseman, Alec Allewine, is at first. Behind the plate is Danny Maynard. I mentioned Tanner Foster started. It's now the lefty reliever, Sammy Peralta, who is pitching. For Florida Tech today, Rodney Bernard is leading off. He's playing second. James Gronberg's batting second. He's in center. So just saw Jacob Boozer bat. He's batting third and playing first. Dylan Owens at the plate now as the designated hitter in the cleanup spot. On deck behind him is Alec Eldridge. He's batting fifth and will play third. Raul Quintero at least being held out of the first game today after being hit in the wrist by a pitch last night. Blaise Maris will bat sixth. He's catching. Jacob Newton, the Panther left fielder, bats seventh. In right field and batting eighth is Vinny Catanza. And rounding out the Panther lineup is the shortstop Pedro Rivera. So that's Bernard, Gronberg, Boozer, Owens, Eldridge, Maris, Newton, Catanza, and Rivera today in Game 1 for Greg Birkenmeyer. Game 2 scheduled for a first pitch 30 minutes after this one concludes. Gronberg at second, and the Panthers lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the second. Call strike on the outside corner. And that'll make it 1-1 to Owens. Panthers came into this game hitting very well as a team at .281 overall. Owens in the mix with that at .267 as he fouls that one off to the backstop 1-2. Rodney Bernard's continuing his hot start. He's 1 for 2 already today, albeit in the first inning. But he entered today with an average of .515 and an OPS of 1121. Put it this way, You have an 1121 OPS in the bigs. You're an all-star. You're probably an MVP candidate with that number. Albeit 8 games in, but still to see the numbers. 515 for Bernard, 414 for Maris, 379 for Gronberg, 353 for Quintero. And that's with Jacob Boozer, who was one of the Panthers' leading hitters last year, hitting under the Mendoza line coming into today. So this Panther lineup hasn't even fully rounded into form just yet. 1-2 to Owens. Comes in today, 8 hits on the season. He's got a home run, 7 RBIs, and an on-base percentage of .436. Peralta misses outside, and that'll even the count. Panthers as a team are getting on base at a .390 clip. Imagine that's got to be near the tops in the SSC, and oddly enough, still under today at 4-5. They were swept by North Georgia, then took 2 of 3 last weekend in Mobile against Spring Hill. Rallied late to win the opener last night. Looking to clinch a series win here in the first game of the doubleheader today as Owens fouls it off. Busy day here at Florida Tech. Men's lacrosse wrapped just a little bit after first pitch today, hence us getting on here a little bit late. Basketball about to start a doubleheader against Lynn. Women will tip off at the top of the hour, men at 4:30. That's just on campus. We actually have several teams away today. Not to mention the Florida Tech softball team we're playing over at Viera. Slated to play number 3 North Georgia as part of their tournament this afternoon, and time called on the pickoff attempt. Ray Chamberlain behind the plate for game 1 today. Casey Sanchez is on the bases. They'll flip for game 2. What a confidence boost this would be for this young Panther team that came off a rough 2018. If you can clinch, at the very least, a series win against the number 1 team in the country, a team that has been a routine powerhouse, really for the history of the Sunshine State Conference, as the count is now full to Owens. Spartans went 42-11 last year, winning the SSC with a 27-3 conference record. That's a 900 clip. Got all the way to the South Region Final and were ultimately knocked out by Florida Southern. They've started this year at 8-3. Runner goes on the full count pitch. Throw down to third is going to be not in time. It's ball 4 anyway to Owens. James Gronberg has a stolen base, and the Panthers have runners at the corners and 1 out here in the second.
Now batting number 5, Alec Eldridge.
It's not one of those cases where it's a dead ball, runner advancing anyway. Third base was open. So for James Gronberg, that's stolen base number 9 of the season. He's perfect on the year in stolen base attempts. The Panthers as a team are perfect in stolen base attempts. They are now 18 for 18. So Gronberg accounting for exactly half of that. I imagine as we're all still getting set up here, I imagine he's moved a little further up in the record books in Florida Tech history for stolen bases. He was at the start of this season as Eldridge looks at strike 1. He drew a walk in the first inning. That moved Owens up. And he would eventually come around to score on the sacrifice fly by Rivera that ended up being run down in the gap. Eldridge for the season hitting .192 in this his 8th start. So in terms of stolen bases, James Gronberg, 2nd in the SSC, is Eldridge way out in front on that one, 1-2. I mentioned a perfect 9 for 9. He trails only Jared Morello of St. Leo. He's 10 of 11. Checking the totals in terms of average, Rodney Bernard leading all hitters in the SSC at .515. No other Panther I should say Blaise Maris is 9th at 414. James Gronberg is in the top 20 at 379. So Panther offense, which hasn't always been what's carried them, doing a lot of the heavy lifting early. And credit to Colin Cristello, worked out of a jam in the first, and had a relatively uneventful second as well. Hopefully seeing Colin turn a corner. 2-2 to Eldridge. In at the knees for a called strike 3. Peralta has his second strikeout. There's 2 gone in the second.
Blaise Maris.
This is a big spot here for Blaise Maris. We said it at the top of the broadcast. 5-0 in the second inning against Tampa. That can get made up. You get another 3 or 4 here before Tampa can reply. You feel pretty good about where you are. You've got runners at the corners. At least like to get Gronberg in. Peralta, 6'2", 205-pound left-handed junior out of Orlando. Just off the corner there, ball 1. Went to high school in Kissimmee at Gateway High School. He's a transfer from Palm Beach State College. Last year, 4-0 with a 3.71 ERA, 55 strikeouts in 51 innings. And Blaise will foul that one down the line. He also walked in that first inning. He ultimately would be stranded. Last year, probably his best start actually came in Brevard County against Eastern Florida State College. 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, and 2 runs. Did strike out 11 in a game against Miami-Dade a week later. Did that in 5 2/3 innings. 1-1 on the way. Missed upstairs. So for head coach Joe Urso, that's got to be a good option to have coming out of your bullpen. Peralta looks like he'd be a very capable starter, but with the typical depth that this Spartan team has, they can afford to bring him out of the pen, and especially with the way things started today for Tampa. He's a guy that you hope keep it at 5 if you're Tampa. Maris couldn't catch up to the fastball, and the count's even. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and 2 on here in the second. Florida Tech leading 5-0. Was at Palm Beach State last year. The year before that, went to San Jacinto North. He appeared in just 4 games there. So for Peralta on the year coming into today, 4 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 4 earned. That one gets away. Gronberg's coming to the plate. The flip will not be in time, and it's a 6-0 Florida Tech lead as James Gronberg comes in to score on the wild pitch. Maynard gave it quite an effort. The throw just a split second late. Owens goes up to second, and the Panthers tack on another. What was sloppy play that undid Tampa in the 8th last night. Multiple errors and several wild pitches, and that's continued here today. Second today already by Spartan pitching. Foster had 1 in the first, and now Peralta's added to it. And it puts Owens in scoring position, and the count's now full to Maris. As the sign and deals, Maris was late on that one, and it'll end the inning as Peralta gets back-to-back strikeouts to get out of it. But the Panthers add on another run, I should say, on the wild pitch. 1 run, 1 hit, no Spartan errors, and 1 left. We go to the 3rd at Andy Semenuk Les Hall Field. It's Florida Tech 6, number 1 Tampa 0. We'll be right back. This is the Florida Tech Sports Network. So we'll give you the Tampa Spartans lineup today. That lineup card filled out by the legendary coach Joe Urso. Leading off is the left fielder Yorvis Torrealba. He'll be followed by the Spartan shortstop Drew Earhart, who bats second. Batting third will be the first baseman Alec Allewine. He'll be followed in the cleanup spot by the designated hitter Danny Servin. Batting fifth and catching is Danny Maynard. In the sixth spot and playing right field is Stevie Mangrum. Batting seventh will be the third baseman Nick Durr. In the eighth spot is the second baseman Nick DeTringo. And rounding out the lineup is the center fielder Steven Smith. It's Torrealba, Earhart, Allewine, Servin, Maynard, Mangrum, Durr, DeTringo, and Smith. For Florida Tech, defensively today, it's Jacob Newton in left field, James Gronberg in center, Benny Catanza in right. On the infield, it's Alec Eldridge at third base, Pedro Rivera at shortstop, Rodney Bernard man second, Jacob Boozer at his typical spot of first base, Blaise Maris is behind the dish, and on the mound is Colin Cristello. Mentioned Colin so far. He's thrown 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. He's done that on 33 pitches. For Colin this is his 4th start. He's 0-1, but with a 3.07 ERA. Seen much improved numbers from 2018. His whip is a 1.27, which is a little elevated, but again, we've seen tremendous progress from Colin this year. 14 2/3 innings coming into today for Cristello. He's given up 13 hits, 7 runs, just 5 of them earned. He walked 5 and struck out 16, so he's striking out just over a batter an inning. Opponents hitting only 236 against him. So we've seen a marked improvement for Colin Cristello, and now having a healthy Andrew Marshauser, who clearly your Friday night number 1. Now you got Colin behind him. All of a sudden that rotation looks a lot better than it did last year. And we've seen the uptick in the Panthers' performance here over the last week or so. Quickly 0-2 to Torrealba. He grounded out to short to start the ball game. Torrealba, a 5'11 junior, product out of the Parkland area, product of Stoneman Douglas High School, and he could not hold his swing there, and it's strike 3, and there's 1 gone here in the 3rd for Colin Cristello. That is strikeout number 3. That'll bring up Drew Earhart. Earhart for the season, or coming into today, hitting 289, 365, 333 as he'll foul that one out of play. He singled in his first plate appearance and would ultimately be stranded at second. 2 doubles and 4 RBIs on the season for Earhart to go with a stolen base. Sophomore, hometown product out of Tampa, went to Wharton High School. Cristello deals, and Earhart's going to bunt that one, and it's placed perfect, but something happened. That might have actually caught him on the hand. He got about 1 step out of the box and immediately was down in pain. I think that might have caught him on the wrist. And Ray Chamberlain, the home plate umpire, immediately called the play dead. Trainer out to take a look at Earhart. They're going to rule it a foul ball and 0-2. Game time conditions in a moment. Earhart was 2nd team All-Sunshine State Conference last year. And he was a recipient of the ABCA Rawlings Golden Glove as a second baseman. The first freshman in program history to receive that honor. Started all 53 games as a freshman. Hit .344, 18 extra base hits, 11 doubles, 5 home runs, 2 triples, drove in 56, and he only struck out 27 times. So, a focal point for this Tampa team. He'll chop this one on the ground as he stays in. It's going to be a one-hopper for Rivera. Needs a strong throw. He gets one, and it's a stretch from Boozer at first. There's 2 away to retire Earhart. Gone, and the base is empty for Allewire. He flew out to right in that first inning. Alley for the season coming in hitting .317, .440 with a .659 slugging percentage. He's got 13 hits. 8 of them have been for extra base hits. 4 doubles, 2 triples, 2 homers, and 7 RBIs. History of great hitters that have come through the Spartan program. Of course, maybe the most famous one, the man that they've named the Player of the Year award for all of Division II, Tino Martinez. Quite a place to start. 2-1 on the way from Cristello. That's ripped to right field. Catanza's not going to get to that. That's going to get in front of the warning track. Vinny over to cut it off. And a good throw back into the infield. Will keep Alleyline at first. Great recovery by Catanza to get over to that ball and threw a dart back into the infield. So it's just a single for Alleyline. Spartan have a man on with 2 away. That'll bring Servin to the plate. Spartans' designated hitter. Came in today hitting .405 with a .500 on base percentage, and he's slugging .524. He's got 5 RBI on the year and 5 stolen bases. He also singled in that first inning, but he would be forced out to end the inning. Cristello now at 44 pitches. Breaking pitch misses upstairs. It's 1-1. Take a look around the Sunshine State Conference momentarily. Everybody in action today. A lot of conference series starting today. Of course, a lot of that began last night. That'll be out of play. Very nearly caught a fan. One and 2. Stella looking to make it 3 scoreless here. Cristello working from the first base side of the rubber. In there for a called strike 3. Calvin Cristello works around a 2-out single, and he's now got 4 strikeouts on the day and puts up another 0 on the board. No runs, 1 hit, no Panther errors, and 1 left. We go to the middle of the third. It's Florida Tech 6, Tampa 0. Mostly cloudy skies here in Melbourne at first pitch. Heat index of 87, however. Everyone feeling it today. It's a typical February Florida day. Wind out of the southeast at about 14 miles per hour, gusting to 23. The flag in straightaway center blowing from right field to left field. It should hold at around 15 miles an hour for the afternoon. Expecting the high to top 85 degrees. And there is a 20% chance of rain as well. The radar showing sprinkles coming on shore throughout the afternoon. That'll be something to deal with. Looking at the SSC standings coming into today. First off, to recap last night. Of course, Florida Tech rallied for 4 in the 8th to win 6-5. Rollins lost their first game to Columbus State 3-2. They're up there today. Nova Southeastern defeated Embry-Riddle 5-2. Barry, an 8-5 winner at Florida Southern. Eckerd won in 10, 7-3 at Palm Beach Atlantic. And Lynn were 3-1 winners over St. Leo. Taking a look at games that are currently in action. We're lining everything up now as we go around the conference scoreboard. And it'll be Jacob Newton to lead off here on the bottom of the third.
Number 6, Jacob Newton.
Eckerd lead Palm Beach Atlantic 6-3. That game in the bottom of the 8th, game 1 of a doubleheader there. Nova Southeastern, the 18th ranked team in the country, having no trouble with Embry-Riddle. 10-1 to the Sharks, top 4 down in Fort Lauderdale. Lynn have a 4-2 lead on 23rd ranked St. Leo. That game in the bottom of the 4th. Barry have jumped Florida Southern. It's 7-0 to the Bucks, bottom 4 in Lakeland. I mentioned Rollins, the only team out of conference. They are up at Columbus State, up in Georgia. And Columbus State have a 3-0 lead. That game is in the top of the 5th. Everybody is planning to play doubleheaders today except for Rollins. Newton takes the 1-0 pitch the other way and into left field for a leadoff hit. And Jacob Newton is 2 for 2 today. So the leadoff man on for Vinny Catanza.
Vinny Catanza.
Vinny struck out looking in the first. Everybody will play doubleheaders today except Rollins. They'll be the only SSC team in action tomorrow. They'll play at 12 against Columbus State. PBA go to North Greenville on Monday to play North Greenville. Embry-Riddle will host Davenport, and that'll be who the Panthers face after this series. That'll be on Wednesday night. We'll have that one for you, 6 p.m. first pitch. And Vinny will drop this one in front of the plate. Peralta's got one play. It's to first. They get Catanza, but Newton moves up to second on the sacrifice. 1-4. It's a man in scoring position for Pedro Rivera.
Pedro Rivera.
PBA and North Greenville will then play again on Tuesday. Davenport will travel to Eckerd, and then they come here Wednesday night. And Florida Southern on Wednesday night will start a 2-game set with Kentucky Wesleyan, which will conclude on Thursday, and then we go back into conference play. Actually, I should say it's a 3-game set that'll conclude on Friday. Everybody else will be in conference play. And Pedro takes us the other way and into right field for a base hit. Greg Berkemeyer will hold Newton at third. It's runners at the corners with 1 out as we go back to the top of the order for Rodney Bernard. A lot of good opposite field hitting in this game so far from Florida Tech. For the Panthers, that is the 7th hit already. Rodney doubled to the warning track and left to start the Panther lineup in the first. He would come around to score on the Boozer single, and he then flew out to right to end the first inning. He was the 10th man to hit. Doesn't look like there's activity in the Spartan pen. They're content to just let Peralta eat some innings here. Florida Tech looking to continue to tack on and quell any thought of a Spartan comeback as Bernard looks at strike 1. Coming into today, Eckerd, Lynn, and Florida Tech all tied atop the conference. They're all 1-0, so they have a perfect winning percentage. Nova Southeastern is 3-1, followed by Barry at 2-2. Rollins have not played a conference game yet, and that'll hold through this weekend. Tampa, Florida Southern, St. Leo, Palm Beach Atlantic, and Embry-Riddle all at 0-1. Peralta working from the third base side of the rubber. Left-hander looks the runner and comes home within. Bernard will find the hole for a base hit. Newton is in to score. They'll play it station to station with Rivera stopping at second. It's a 7-0 Panther lead. My word. Rodney Bernard's got 2 more hits on the season. He's now 19 of 35. And for Rodney Bernard, that is his 7th RBI of the season already. Brings up James Gronberg, walked in the first and scored, singled to center to lead off the second, came to score on a wild pitch. That Rodney Bernard on the year now, and I should say he's 19 of 36. He's had 3 at-bats today. So Rodney's actually moved his average up to 528. Want to know the count to Gronberg, who's having quite a start to the season himself. He Came in today hitting .379, a 500 on base percentage, and a .517 slugging percentage, and he's added to both. He's reached both times he's come to the plate today and added his 9th stolen base to that. Got a double, a homer, and 5 RBIs on the season. I'd like to add to that total here with 2 speedsters on the base path. So if James can find the gap, really tag it on, and really 2 more runs here might just put this game to bed. Now look at a called strike. 2-1 now to the Panther center fielder. What is a very young Panther team. James, one of the very few seniors on this roster. He's seen the ups and the downs, and he's hoping to end his Panther career on a high note. This would certainly be up there. Infield playing back all the way across as Peralta misses low, and it's the ideal hitter's count at 3-1. Tampa's always been the gold standard in the SSC, them and Florida Southern. Panthers have certainly had their troubles when they go to Tampa, but they've more than held their own here at Indy Seminole Glass Hall Field over the years against the Spartans, especially in the Greg Berkemeyer era. Back to the very first time they played in 2008 when freshman Matt Schurig threw a jab as Gronberg draws a walk, and that will load the bases for Jacob Boozer. And this game could be getting away quickly.
Jacob Boozer.
If you wanted a scenario for Florida Tech, this is it. Bases loaded, up 7-0 against Tampa, and you've got Jacob Boozer at the plate. This is it. Rivera at third, Bernard at second, and Gronberg at first as Boozer hits this high and into right center field. It should be playable for Smith. He'll make the catch. Rivera will tag. The throw is going to be well up the first base line, and the 2 other runners will advance as Rivera comes in to score, and it is 8-0 Panthers. A sacrifice fly for Jacob Boozer. He's got his 2nd RBI of the day, and that is now 8 RBIs this season for Boozer.
Dylan Owens.
The throw from Smith went well up the first base line. Credit Gronberg, he immediately picked that up, and so did Bernard at second. And the 2 remaining runners are now both in scoring position. So a base hit here from Owens would make it a double-digit lead. Just might. This is hit well to left. Torrey Elba going back at the track, and it's out of here! A 3-run homer for Dylan Owens, and the Panthers have blown it open. It is 11-0 over the #1 team in the country.
Home run by Dylan Owens.
Boy, if I wasn't seeing it for myself, I wouldn't believe it. Over the wall in left field, Torrey Alba hit the wall pretty hard there chasing it. And for Dylan Owens, it's his 2nd of the season. And the Panthers almost home and dry already in the 3rd inning. This is remarkable. Everything that could go right in game 1 for Florida Tech has. It's 11-0. I'm going to keep saying that. They're up 11-0 on the #1 team in the country. Boy, look at that score line and take it in, folks. This does not happen often. You might beat the #1 team in the country. You don't do this. 0-1 the count to Eldridge, who's 0-for-1 with a walk in his first 2 plate appearances today. He's batted in all 3 innings. Way outside. Several Panthers to do that. Gronberg, Boozer, Owens, and now Eldridge have batted in all 3 innings. coming, and that's chopped foul to the Rockledge native. Mention Eldridge coming in today at 192 with an RBI. He walked in the first, came around to score on the sacrifice fly by Rivera, and then struck out looking in the second. Knock on the year also has a double. But he'll have to take the strikeout there as he looks at strike 3 on the outside corner. But the Panthers, for the second time today, put up a 5 spot on the board, capped on the 3-run homer by Dylan Owens. 5 runs, 4 hits, no Spartan errors, nobody left. We go to the 4th. It's Florida Tech 11, number 1 Tampa 0. We'll be back in 60 seconds. This is the Florida Tech Sports Network. Go to the 4th, and Colin Cristello not only has insurance and cushion, he's sleeping on a king-size bed of a lead right now. It is Florida Tech 11, Tampa 0. As we start the 4th inning, it'll be Maynard, Mangrum, and Durr to face Cristello as we start. Jerry Durney here with you on FloridaTechSports.com. Looks at a called strike 1. Maynard grounded into a fielder's choice to end the first inning in his first plate appearance. Maynard came in today hitting .353 with an on-base of .343 and a .647 slugging mark. 4 doubles, 2 home runs, and 7 RBIs. He's behind 0-2 here. One of several Division I transfers on the Spartan roster. Maynard, a senior that previously played at the University of Maryland, as he fouls that one into the Spartan dugout. Last year was his first year in Tampa. Played in 28 games with a .263 average. Did have extensive playing time his 2 years at Maryland. He had .306 as a freshman in 36 games. He had .259 in 37 games as a sophomore. Cristello misses outside with the waste pitch, 1-2. Originally hails from Burnt Hills, New York, and went to Ballston Lake High School. He had .436 as a senior, earning honorable mention All-American honors from Perfect Game USA. Boy, Colin took something nasty off that one. This might be the best outing we've seen today from Colin Cristello. That's strikeout number 5. There's 1 gone here in the 4th. Just the movement and the composure Colin's had against, I keep saying it, the number 1 team in the country. Tampa has had an assembly line of hitters over the years. Colin Cristello, as if he's been here hundreds of times. First pitch on the way to Mangrum is grounded to Rivera at short. And just like that, there's 2 gone. This is a lot of what we saw in that opening series against North Georgia, where Colin was getting a lot of first pitch contact, getting quick outs. And really the only reason he didn't come away with a win against North Georgia was because the defense fell apart in the 6th inning. He looked good last week against Spring Hill, and he's picked that up here today, and that's got to be a very positive sign for Greg Birkemeyer. You know you've got a number one and a healthy Andrew Marshauser. We saw it last night. And this is the Colin Cristello we're going to see all season. Business could pick up for Florida Tech, and quickly. 1-0 to Dern, make that 2-0. He struck out swinging in his only plate appearance. Division I transfer, hails from Lakewood Ranch, which is in, I believe, over by Bradenton. He played high school ball at Sarasota High School. Spent the last 2 years at Florida State. Hit .212 in 50 games last year, had 6 home runs. Had FSU's first home run of the season last year against Xavier on opening day. Of course, FSU were knocked out in heartbreaking fashion in the regionals by Mississippi State. I believe it was if I remember correctly, it was Drew Parrish who was pitching, Brevard County product. Got beat in the 9th inning, came back in after a 2-hour rain delay. And Mississippi State delivered the knockout blow, but one of the great programs in college baseball as Mike Martin goes to his final season. That was a tremendous play by Rivera in the hole and short just to make it close. I think Durr would have beaten it anyway. He's on with a 2-out hit. A stretch by Boozer just to make it close. Rivera had to slide to his right. He got up and threw a dart. That'll bring up Detringo. Benjamin Durr also played in the Cape Cod League last year. In each of the last 2 years. Brings up Detringo. We're still plugged in there. Comes around and thrown in time. That ends the 4th inning. Colin Cristello gives up a 2-out infield hit, and that's it. His short outing continues. No runs, 1 Spartan hit, and 1 left. We go to the middle of the 4th. It's Florida Tech 11, number 1 Tampa 0. Like a few of our sponsors who make Florida Tech baseball possible, our Platinum Panther partners of the Broken Barrel Tavern, Florida Today, Hometown News, Maverick Multimedia, Mercedes-Benz Porsche Audi of Melbourne, and the SCB Media Group. Our Golden Panther partners are Berman Hopkins Wright Laham, Bisque Education, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Frog Bones, Hell First, Marco's Pizza, Meg O'Malley's and Hemingway's, National Management Resources, Old School Pizza, Tom Stewart at Pepsi, Satcom Direct, Southern Janitor Supply and Service, and University Center Imaging at Medical Technology Transfer. I'm going to mention with Detringo, he was on the South Region preseason All-America watch list. Tampa, the preseason number 1 in the SSC poll. They got 9 of 11 first-place votes. Florida Southern got the other 2. Checking around the SSC scoreboard as we take a look in between. Palm Beach Atlantic have rallied 5 in the 8th. They lead Eckerd 7-6. That game in the top of the 9th. The Tritons, however, do have the tying run on with nobody out. Keep an eye on that. Nova Southeastern, the 18th ranked team in the country, no trouble with Embry-Riddle, 10-1, that game in the bottom of the 5th. Nova had 3 in the 1st, 5 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd there. Bottom 5 at St. Leo, and the 23rd ranked Lions trail Lynn 4-2. Barry all over Florida Southern 7-0, that game in the top of the 6th. Bottom 6 in Georgia, it's Columbus State 3, Rollins 0. 1-0 to Blaise Maris, who leads off the 4th. It's Maris now, followed by Newton and Catanza. Sammy Peralta starts his 3rd full inning of work. He's actually going into inning 4. Foster did not retire a batter. This is the 3rd inning that he started. What do you say about Blaise Maris? What a debut campaign so far in Melbourne. 8 games in, not counting today. It's ball 3 above the shoulders. Blaise came in today .414 average, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, a .485 on base, and a .690 slugging percentage for an OPS of 1175. And he'll look at ball 4. That'll add to the tally as Place has walked for the second time today. It's the 4th walk he's drawn this year. Leadoff man to the plate, or I should say the leadoff man is aboard for Jacob Newton. So the Panthers have 3 hitters with an OPS of over 1,000. That's those of you trying to catch up with advanced stats. That's on base plus slugging percentage. If your OPS is over 1,000, again at the big league level, if your OPS is over 1,000, you're doing well. The collegiate level, you're almost automatic. 0-1 to Newton. Seeing eye single in the first, and then went the other way to lead off the third. Come in to score on the single by Bernard. Newton has scored 7 runs now this season. That should be good for, tied for second on the team with Jacob Boozer. The leader is James Gronberg with 9. I stand corrected. Gronberg leads. Quintero's second with 8. And then Newton Boozer both with 7. It counts down 1 and 2, Jake. Came in here today hitting .226, but 2 for 2. Should send that average northward. He's getting on base still at a .436 clip. He has a team-high 9 walks. Small lead for Maris at first. Peralta trying to get Newton to chase. Couldn't there, and it evens the count. Spartans trying to go for a 4-peat this year. In terms of conference championships, they won it in 2016, 17, and 18. Matter of fact, they've won it every year this decade, bar 2. And really, since the turn of the century, you can count on one hand, really, the number of times. Really, you can almost count on one hand the number of times Tampa hasn't won the conference title since the turn of the century. Rollins won it in 2004, Florida Southern in 2005, Barry in 2009 and 2011, Nova Southeastern in 2015, and that's it. Every other year besides those, Tampa's won the league. 19 in total. Most in the conference by 2 ahead of Florida Southern. Look at the breakdown of the history of the championships in this league. Tampa with 19, Florida Southern has 17, Barry and Eckerd have 2. Eckerd's came back in 78 and 81. Rollins with 1, Nova with 1, Central Florida with 1, and North Florida with 1. I tell you, it's been a duopoly in this league. And the 3-2 is low for ball 4. Great at bat by Jacob Newton to work the walk, his 10th of the season. The Panthers have the first 2 men aboard here in the 4th. Vinny Catanza digs in. He's officially 0 for 1. He had a sacrifice bunt his last time up, which put Newton at second. Vinny for the year, just 2 for 19. Vinny's also drawn 4 walks. Even he's been able to bring some value to the plate. Infield playing behind the runners, and Peralta misses low. No one up in the Tampa pen, and you figure at this point, Peralta has that pedigree as a starter, and I wonder if Joe Urso is just letting Peralta pitch 6 or 7 here just to save his bullpen for the 3rd game. It's 11-0. You know, what's the point of running 3 or 4 more pitchers here, especially in a conference game? You get to that point now where they really matter. That's going to get through, and it's past Earhart off his wrist and into center field. They will send Maris to the plate. Digging for 3rd is Newton. Into 2nd is Catanza. It's 12-0 FIT. It was just past the reach of Peralta on the follow-through. Earhart dove for it. I think it might have hit off his wrist and into center field. Maris running hard the whole way. So was Newton going to third ahead of the throw. And Florida Tech's perfect day continues.
Rivera.
For Vinny Catanza, that is his first RBI of 2019. And that'll bring up Pedro Rivera, who hit a sac fly in the first. And then singled to right in the third. He would eventually come around to score on the Boozer sac fly. And Peralta's day is done as Joe Urso comes to get the ball from him. Oddly enough, we were just speculating. You figure this is a spot where somebody just takes the bullet and just throws 5 innings, regardless of the results. But we'll see a new pitcher here for Tampa to get a number on it first. But we'll tally the numbers on Peralta, and we'll come back and tell you about the new Spartan pitcher. The Panthers have runners at second and third and nobody out in the fourth, with Pedro Rivera coming to the plate, and they lead the Spartans 12-0. We'll be back. This is the Florida Tech Sports Network. We come back, and it's Bo Weiss, 6'3", 385-pound right-handed junior out of Castle Rock, Colorado. The transfer from the University of North Carolina will come in, and he'll face Pedro Rivera with 2 in scoring position and nobody out here in the fourth. The Panthers already have a run across. Wise for Weiss, this is his third appearance of the season. He's made 1 start. In total, 3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, as that's going to be fouled out of play. He's walked 1 and struck out 5 with an ERA of 9. I mentioned Weiss on the year. Came here from North Carolina. Appeared in 6 games last year, had a 3.37 ERA in 2 2/3 innings. Rivera, it's a chopper off the plate. Will this stay fair? No, it just rolls foul. Weiss very nearly knocked that fair. He almost hit it in fair territory. You see, I mentioned 2 2/3 innings with 6 appearances, so it seems like Weiss was almost as if a 1-out guy. Appeared in 15 games as a freshman in 2017. Had a 2.70 ERA in 16 2/3 innings with 14 strikeouts. He's a product of Regis Jesuit High School. He's a first-team All-State pitcher. Hit on the ground towards second. Up with it is the second baseman, DeTringo. Rivera's retired. Newton will come in to score, and it's 13-0 Panthers. So an RBI RBI for Pedro Rivera, his second of the day. We go back to the top of the order for Rodney Bernard. Bo Weiss has some pretty impressive lineage. His father, Walt, had an over decade-long career in the majors. He was the Rookie of the Year for the AL back in 1988 with the A's, and then went on to play with the Marlins, Rockies, and Braves. Of course, recently had a managerial stint with the Rockies. He was actually drafted out of high school, was Bo, in the 29th round of the 2016 draft by the Yankees. Chose instead to go to North Carolina, and now here at Tampa. It's 2-0 to Bernard. Rodney doubled to lead off the Panther portion of the lineup in the first inning. Scored on the Boozer single. Singled and scored again in the third, and that's going to hit off air hard and into left field. Catanza will score. Bernard is safe at first. The Panthers have a 2-touchdown lead. That brings up James Gronberg. Pretty much since the 8th inning last night, everything has gone sideways for Tampa. That's their first error. There's been balls that have just gone under gloves, balls that have hit off wrist. There's been wild pitches. It's been a horror show for Tampa. Really since about 9 o'clock last night. Gronberg fouls off the first offering. He's reached all 3 times today. Walked twice and singled to center. He scored all 3 times. Rodney Bernard now with 2 more RBIs on the year. That brings his total to 8. That closes the book, by the way, on Sammy Peralta. We're going to give you the full rundown on both Tampa pitchers. We never did that. And Gronberg's going to line that right to Tringo at second base. And with the runner going, that is an easy 4-3 double play. But the Panthers put up 3 more with some sloppy play from the Spartans. 3 runs, 1 hit, 1 Spartan error, nobody left. We go to the 5th. It's Florida Tech 14, number 1 Tampa 0. We'll be back in 60 seconds. This is the Florida Tech Sports Network. Start the 5th inning, and the Panthers hold to a 2-touchdown lead here at Andy Seminick Les Hall Field. It is the Panthers 14 and Tampa 0. Jerry Durney here with you on FloridaTechSports.com. Steven Smith to lead it off here, and then back to the top of the order against Colin Cristello. First offering to Smith, going to be hit on the ground to first. Easy play for Jacob Boozer. 1 pitch, 1 out. And that's been the story of Colin Cristello's season so far. A lot of first pitch contact. Back to the top of the order, and it's Yorvis Torrealba who's 0 for 2. Grounded out to short to start the game. He struck out swinging in the 3rd. I mentioned he's a product of Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. Previously played at the College of Central Florida and Wake Technical College. More Major League heritage on this Tampa lineup. His dad, Yorvit, a veteran Major League catcher. He'll wear one there. Caught Torrealba on the hip. Tampa have a man on with one out. Yorvit Torrealba played for 7 teams over 13 seasons in the Bigs. Most notably, played in the 2007 World Series with the Colorado Rockies. And it's going to be a pinch hitter here for Tampa. So Joe Urso emptying the bench. It'll be Cole Perry to hit here for Erhard. And I wonder if something didn't happen with Erhard on that hit by Catanza that looked like the ball coming back up the middle might have got him on the wrist. So Perry takes his spot in the order. I presume he's going to take his spot in the field. Perry on the year has played in 4 games. He is 2 for 4 in that time frame. 1-1 the count with 1 out. Perry, a 6', 215-pound right-handed hitting senior from Jacksonville, went to Atlantic Coast High School. It's a transfer from St. John's River State College. That is below the knees. That's right next to you. There you go. Played in 28 games last year at Tampa. 339 with 14 RBIs. You continue that pro heritage talk. His dad, Paul, was a 7th round pick in the 1983 draft by the Cleveland Indians. As a sophomore at St. John's River, hit 246 with 6 home runs and 29 RBI. He hit 304 as a freshman at St. John's River. I think this might just be about Erhard because Alliwine's on deck and looks like all the other Spartan regulars are in. So see how that unfolds for game 2. Perry lifts this into left field for a base hit. They'll hold Torrealba at second. And this might be the most promising inning so far for Tampa since the first. So to check on the final line score for both of the starting pitchers, or both of the pitchers so far for Tampa that have had their days completed. I mentioned Tanner Foster started, faced 6 batters, did not retire any of them. 3 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 3 walks, no strikeouts on 23 pitches. Sammy Peralta's final line as that one gets away from Maris, but he's on it immediately and the runners have to hold 1-0. Alliwine 1 for 2 today. So for Sammy Peralta, 3 innings, 7 hits, 9 runs, all of them earned, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, and 61 pitches. Stello working from the first base side of the rubber. This will be his 70th pitch coming up. Although I imagine he's got plenty of leeway to work with. You got a 14-run lead. You could probably go a little longer. And the question for Greg Berkemeyer at some point becomes, when do you pull him just because you want to make sure you have him ready to go? And with that, he's actually going to come out of the dugout here to talk to Colin. It's now 2-0 to Alliwine. I say, Greg, that's actually first-year pitching coach Jeff Tam coming out of the dugout. What we were going to say is you don't have to worry about pitching midweek. That'll be one of those Johnny Holstaff efforts, or you get a reliever to come in and maybe throw for 5 or 6 innings. But you do have a conference series on the road next weekend at Eckerd. And you want to make sure you have Colin fresh for that, because every conference series matters, and especially when you're on the road, you really want to be able to lean on your starters. Wine hails out of Panama City. Went to Panama City High School. Transfer from Gulf Coast State College. Last year played in 41 games for Gulf Coast State, did Allie Wine, as he'll look at ball 4. That's the first walk by Colin Cristello today. The Spartans have the bases loaded with 1 out in the 5th. Well, this might be just an emptying of the bench period here by Joe Urso. Another pinch hitter, and it's their DH Servin who's going to sit for Luis Medina, transfer from the College of Central Florida. So he'll move into Servin's spot as the DH from here on out in the cleanup spot. A hometown product out of Tampa, went to a great program at Tampa Prep. And he'll look at strike 1. A right-handed hitter. Goes 6'1", 220. He came from the College of Central Florida last year in 47 games. 350 average, 13 homers, 8 doubles, 46 RBI. Colin fires it, strike 2. He had 2 games where he hit 2 homers and had 5 RBIs. 2 separate cases of that. Hit .339 as a freshman. First team All-State as a senior at Tampa Prep under the great A.J. Hendricks. 0-2. In there for a called strike 3. Strikeout number 6 for Colin Cristello, and none have been bigger. Two away, and the base is loaded now, and it'll be another pinch hitter in Luke McDonald. So we saw initially with Perry, we figured it might be because Earhart had taken that ground ball off of his wrist, and maybe they were just playing it safe, but Joe Urso might just be conceding here at 14-0. McDonald is 6'2", 195-pound right-handed hitting freshman. Hails from Staten Island, New York. However, he played his high school ball in Brooklyn, a very prestigious preparatory school there in Brooklyn, Xaverian. I know that actually had a few family members that went there. Of course, maybe the most famous Xaverian product of all, Chris Mullen. Of course, that's basketball, but very prestigious school in New York. It was a red shirt last year. Could make the SSC Commissioner's Honor Roll. Late on the fastball there, and it's now 1-2 with 2 away. Bases loaded for Tampa here on the 5th, trying to get on the board for the first time. Torrey Alba at first, Perry at second, and Allie Wine at first. 14-0 your score. That missed low and away. Varian's actually produced a couple of major league players. Rudy Lugo, who was the brother of Julio Lugo. And Pedro Beato, who was a reliever with the Mets and the Red Sox earlier this decade. And, of course, their most famous was Rich Aurelia, the longtime Giant shortstop. Two-hopper to second. Easy play for Rivera, who underhands to Bernard. And Colin Cristello gets out of the jam unscathed. No runs, one hit, no Panther errors, 3 left. We go on to the middle of the 5th here at Andy Seminick Les Hall Field. It remains Florida Tech 14, number 1 Tampa 0. We'll keep it here as we look to make sure everything adds up on the scorecards here. There's plenty of changes for Tampa. Bo Weiss will have his first full inning of work. Well, see as Perry's moved over to third. Look to see who's at short. Keep our eye on that. Earhart came out of the game at short, so there'll be a new shortstop. There's a new DH. I presume that's Medina. And I think they have a new catcher, which is Jack Lefflet. No, it's 16 catching. Might be right. Well, Jack Lefflat's warming him up, but that may be only because McDonald was on bait or was at the plate to end the inning. So the new shortstop will be Nick Durr. So he swaps from third to short, and Perry will play third. And doesn't look like there's any other changes. And in fact, it is McDonald who will stay in to catch. And I don't see any other changes just yet for Tampa, but I have a feeling that'll change. Special thanks to our sponsors who make Florida Tech Panther Athletics possible. Our Silver Panther partners of Baker Sporting Goods, Boeing, Central AC, Cumulus, Domino's, the Durand Golf Club, Hilton Doubletree, Hilton Rialto, Jersey Mike Subs, and Marriott Courtyard Residence Inn. Now we're going to go back. This is going to be my homework assignment while on air. I'm going to go back and see if we can find the last time Florida Tech had a series win against Tampa. I imagine it's got to be a good while. And there's a reason the Spartans have won 19 conference titles. They've been able to knock just about everybody back. Spartans on this weekend last year swept all 3. Over at the UT baseball field on campus. Last time these two teams had a series here in Melbourne. Back at the end of March, beginning of April 2017. Florida Tech won the opener that time, and then Tampa won the Saturday doubleheader. Boozer, it's the 1-1 to second. Could be a tricky play there for DeTringo. Throws to Allewine, and that's the first out of the 5th. And I believe we actually do have a, might be a defensive change at second, as Dylan Owens comes to the plate. And it's number 28. And it's Sam Freitas. So he takes over for DeTringo. So Tampa emptying their bench. So it's 1-0 to Owens. He's had 4 RBIs on the day. He's 2 for 2. Of course, had that 3-run homer his last time up as he fouls that one off, 1-1. Mentioned for Dylan, that's his 2nd home run of the year. He's now got 11 RBIs, which leads the team. Looking in terms of the Sunshine State Conference, entering play today, Mitch Calandra of Eckerd was your leader with 18. Servin, Christian Demby of Nova Southeastern were tied for second with 14. Shane Fontana of Lynn and Peyton Isaacson of St. Leo had 13. And for Dylan, he is now tied with Zach Dywert of Florida Southern, Cameron Meehan of Rollins, Nick Conti of Eckerd and Jacob Reimold of St. Leo in that category. So it'll be a tie for 6th. But Dylan has stepped in right away, and he's made his presence felt as a middle of the order hitter. And that was something Florida Tech needed last year, is protection in front of and behind Jacob Boozer. Jacob had a terrific 2018 season, but he often had to do it by himself. Well, James Gronberg's had a nice bounce back. We've seen Rodney Bernard start off well. Dylan Owens, very much a middle of the order presence. Blaise Maris has hit very well. So the offense isn't just get somebody on and hope Jacob Boozer can do something. Everyone's been pulling their weight, and we've started to see the results pay off here in these last 2 weeks. Full count now to Owens. Hit right back up the middle. Very nearly got Weiss, and it's into center for a base hit. And Dylan Owens has a 3 for 3 afternoon. That'll bring up Alec Eldridge. Dylan Owens now on the season. As we said, he's 3 for 3 today with a walk. Dylan has raised his average just today from 267 to 333. So the Panthers now have 5 hitters over 300. Dylan, Raul Quintero, James Gronberg, Blaise Maris, Rodney Bernard. The Panthers' team average, I imagine, has gone up considerably. They are 11 of 21 at the plate today. It's a called strike to Eldridge. So in terms of the team total, and that is correct, the Panthers have actually raised their team average by 25 points just in the first 4+ innings. Panthers as a team, when the day started, were at 281. They're now at 306. Yeah, and I may get repetitive, and I apologize, but they're doing this with the number 1 team in the country on the other side of this. Remarkable, as Eldridge was fooled there, flailed at that one. Weiss has his first strikeout. There's 2 gone. Here's Blaise Maris. He's walked twice, struck out in his other plate appearance. Checking around the SSC scoreboard. Final down in Palm Beach. The Sailfish rally for 5 in the 8th inning, and they beat Eckerd 7-6. Maris misses the first one. So the rubber game coming up in a little bit between those two. Eckerd took the opener last night. Nova Southeastern with a 10-1 lead on Embry-Riddle. That game in the bottom of the 7th. Lynn have a 4-3 lead on St. Leo. That game's in the bottom of the 7th. Barry a 7-0 lead on Florida Southern. That game in the top of the 8th. Top 8 as well in Columbus, Georgia. It's Columbus State 8, Rollins 0. Yeah, we're going to continue this homework assignment, trying to find the last time Florida Tech won a series against Tampa. I know they've done it in the Greg Berkemeyer era, but again, the standard that Tampa sets, it's not something you do every year or maybe every other year either. Ran him inside. There wasn't a whole lot Maris was going to do with that one. Well done by Bo Weiss. Bounces back and gets consecutive strikeouts to end the inning. And the Panthers are kept off the scoreboard for the first time this afternoon. No runs, 1 hit, no Spartan errors, 1 left. We've played 5 in Melbourne. It's Florida Tech 14, number 1 Tampa 0. They'll be back in 60 seconds. This is the Florida Tech Sports Network. top of the 6th inning for Tampa. They trail Florida Tech 14-0. Jerry Dirty here with you on the Florida Tech Sports Network. It's been all Panthers from the jump. Mangrum today reached on a Bernard error in the 2nd, grounded out to short in the 4th. He'll hit this in the air. It's going to go into shallow right field. Bernard's got a beat on it. And he makes the catch. Not an easy play with what is a sneaky windy day here in Melbourne. And with the sun starting to get brighter and brighter here as we go along in the afternoon. Bring up Nick Durr. Durr 1 for 2 today with a strikeout. He singled his last time up. First pitch is to Rivera. It's going to be a tough play. Knocks it down. Throw's going to be high. We'll see how they score that. It would have been tough. Durr was flying down the line. I'm not sure, even if the throw was on the line, it would have mattered. It was very close. So we'll see what they give that, but he reaches. And that means for the first time today, we will see Sam Freitas. Freitas, one of the replacements, came in last inning. He takes over for DeTringo at 2nd. Hails out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Transferred from Florida Southwestern College, which is a JUCO. Played in 55 games last year for them. Hit .318 with 4 home runs, 12 doubles, 29 RBIs. Hit .262 as a freshman. Played at Mountain View High School there in Georgia. 2nd team All-Region and 3rd team All-County honors. Chop foul by Freitas, 1-1. For Freitas this year, it's his 4th game. This is just his 2nd, or I should say his 4th at bat. He's hitting .333 to this point. Fastball right down Babcock Street. Freitas just watched it go by, 1-2. So for Colin Cristello, this will be his 87th pitch, and we've got 1 out in the 6th. So if Colin gets a quick inning here, he probably has earned himself the 7th inning if he gets a quick one here. This is going to be a little dribbler off the end of the bat. Colin's got one play. It's to first. Bit of a high throw, but Booster's got it. It'll move Durr up to 2nd. That's 2 away. Like we just said, if Colin gets a quick out here, and he's under 90 pitches going, well, he would have to do it in one of these next 2, but if he's at 91, 92 pitches going to the 7th, you would imagine with the lead, Greg Berkemeyer and Jeff Tam probably let him start the 7th and see where it goes from there. And it'll be another pinch hitter here for Tampa. It'll be Keenan Bell, left-handed hitting junior, a transfer from the University of Florida. Gators have been one of the powerhouses of college baseball in recent years. We've got quite a few guys who have been top draft picks. I think a couple of guys at the top of the draft in each of the last few years. They've won a pair of College World Series as well recently. They have turned quite a corner. Brady Singer being a recent product. Jonathan India last year went 5th in the draft to Cincinnati. Brady Singer went in the 1st round to Kansas City. Jackson Kowar went to the Royals. That was also late in the 1st round as well. So Florida have had quite a run. And that's just in 2018. I know in recent years they've done that as well. Alex Fado went to the Tigers in 2017, and of course Florida also producing one of the top prospects in all of baseball right now, Peter Alonso, who is set to make an impact for the New York Mets this year, the Florida product. 1-1 on the way to Bell and sliced foul. Bell played 61 games with UF last year, hit .224 with 6 home runs and 27 RBIs. Did hit .246 in SEC play with 12 RBI. 6 multi-hit games and 6 multi-RBI games last year. He was 3 for 7 in the Super Regional against Auburn last year, which was a very tight series. I think they won that on that wild walk-off that where the home run hit off the outfielder's glove and went out. But Bell went 3 for 7 in that series with a double and an RBI. Hit .283 as a freshman as well. Of course, the Gators went on to win the 2017 title. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Bell here in the top of the 6th. Tampa still looking for their first run. And it's low and outside. Bell comes from Jacksonville. He went to Episcopal High School, all Gateway Conference honors, and he was actually an Under Armour All-America. The runner at second is Durr with 2 out. Infield playing back. Costello has his sign and deals, and that's going to be outside for ball 4. Just the second walk issued by Costello today, and it puts 2 men on and 2 out here in the 6th. And we'll see where that puts Cowan. He's very close to 95 pitches. We'll say that. It's officially 93 for Costello. And they're going to give Durr a single, by the way. They ruled Durr was too quick. So the throw by Rivera ultimately didn't matter. And he didn't advance any further. First pitch to Torreal was a ball. Grounded out to short to start the game. Struck out swinging in the 3rd and was hit by a pitch on the hip his last time up. No activity in the Panther pen. Again, a lot of that has to do with the lead. At this point, you just want to see Costello work his way through that and get 6 innings. You know, everyone's going to get to that 100-pitch threshold at some point. So here it is. We actually finally found what we were looking for. We'll tell you in a moment. One on the way. Boy, a lot of it. I don't know what Torrealba could have done with that anyway. It's 1-2. Excellent work from Costello. This will be his 97th pitch upcoming. Looking to get through 6 shutout innings. He's given up 6 hits today and walked just 2. Looking to keep that shutout through 6 as we start to see some Panther pitchers start to stretch in the bullpen. 1-2. Hit off the end of the bat into right center. That might drop. It will. This will get Tampa on the board as Durr comes to the plate. Bell goes to 3rd. The Spartans have their first run of the day. It's an RBI single with 2 out for Torrealba, and it's 14-1. Costello doesn't have to worry. There's nobody even throwing yet in the Tampa or the Florida Tech pen. That might change. Here's Cole Perry. He singled to left in his first at-bat last inning. He came in to pinch hit for Earhart. Costello working from the 3rd base side of the rubber. First pitch fastball for a called strike. So the last time the Panthers won a series of any kind against Tampa, it actually came at Tampa back in March of 2012. Panthers won the Friday night game 5-1. They won the first Saturday game 3-2, and then lost the second game on that Saturday 6-3. So it's been almost 7 years since Florida Tech won a series against Tampa. So Perry looks at strike 2. That was the year where Florida Tech was. It wasn't even a year that they went to the tournament. They were 26-23 that year. They won 5 games on the road. 2 of them came at Tampa, oddly enough. And that also came while Tampa was ranked number 1. Who would have thought? All those years where Florida Tech were in the mix and made NCAA tournaments, couldn't beat Tampa. They come into this series at under 500, and they're looking at a potential series win as it's now 1-2. 1-2. This will be the 101st pitch of the afternoon for Cristello. Might be his last. Off the end of the back, it'll be a high chop for Bernard. Got screened by the runner, underhands to first, not in time. Bell comes in to score. It's 14-2, and the inning continues. On the infield single by Cole Perry. I think the fact that Torrealba screened Bernard delayed him just long enough. If Bernard gets a clean run in on that play, it probably beats Perry by about half a step, but Rodney had to work around the runner, then get the ball and pitch it. And that allows the inning to continue as Jeff Tam will come out to talk with Colin Cristello. Torrealba moves up to second on the play, and Bell comes in to score. Now we're looking for the last time Florida Tech had won a series at home against Tampa. They've beaten them a few times here. They've had more luck at home than playing over at UT. I think this is just to buy time, nothing else, just to kind of like Colin catch his breath and give the starting pitchers or the relief pitchers, I should say, some time to get loose in the pen and make some quick throws. Well, the furthest our archives go back is 08. And at no point before that had Florida Tech won a home series against Tampa. They've had those individual non-conference games. They've won games in series here against Tampa. They haven't won a series at home against Tampa in over 12 years. Pretty remarkable. I'll bring up Alleywine. 1 for 2 on the day. He walked his last time up. First pitch to him misses outside, 1-0, and Colin's location hasn't quite been there this inning, and you wonder if that's just the fact that he's heading towards the 100 pitch mark, or he's now over it for the afternoon. He's plenty away. That tells you. Anyone can have a waste pitch or have one get away, but when you're consistently missing well away, so there is one man up in the pen for Florida Tech as Alleywine hits this. Will it stay playable? It's between Eldridge, Rivera, and Newton, and I don't think anybody caught it. They didn't. I think the wind and the sun were playing tricks on all three, and I don't think anybody called it. And it fell between all three, and instead it's 2-1. Jake Lane is the man warming up in the pen for Florida Tech. I stand correct, that's not Jake Lane, that is Rhett Willis. Two and 1, the count to Alleywine. And now it's the Ideals hitters count for him at 3-1. Two runs have already come across this inning. 2 more on base. Outfield playing back all the way across. Just off the plate for ball 4. Colin Cristello starting to tire here in the 6th inning. It'll load the bases for Medina. Medina entered as a pinch hitter last inning and struck out looking. This might be Collins' last batter regardless. If he gets out of the inning, he probably won't see the seventh. If Medina gets aboard and one or two more come across the plate, that might just do it. That was Collins' 107th pitch. That one missed away. Still see the velocity on Collins' pitches, maybe just not the command that served him so well so far this season. You look ahead to the bottom of the sixth for Florida Tech. It'll be Newton, Catanza, and Rivera. Costello deals. These Tampa hitters have done a good job of being able to lay off. They haven't chased the way they did early on. Outfield playing deep, especially Newton in left. Medina had 13 home runs last season at College of Central Florida as he fouls that off. It's 2-2 here. Torrealba at third, Perry at second, Allewine at first. 14-2 your score here in the top of the sixth. The 2-2 to Medina. In there for a called strike three. Colin Costello leaves the bases loaded in the sixth to cap his afternoon, while the Spartans plate their first two of the day. 2 runs, 3 hits, no Panther errors, and 3 left. We go to the middle of the sixth. It's Florida Tech 14, number 1 Tampa 2. Thank a few of our sponsors who make Florida Tech Panther Athletics possible. Our Bronze Panther partners of the Art Lab, Crown Plaza, Fairfield Inn and Suites, Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Holiday Inn Express Melbourne, Jacobus Fielding, Kiwi Tennis Club, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Off the Tracks, Tequila Azul, Phantom Productions, Ryan Reporting Incorporated, Sandpiper Sportswear, C-Deck, Cenitech, and Walmart. Our general partners are Carroll Distributing, Mike Erdman, Flamio Wealth Management, Hooters of Melbourne, Long Doggers, Southern Janitor, and USSI Global. Bo Weiss will start his second full inning of work. He was the first Spartan pitcher to keep the Panthers off the board all day with a clean sixth. Look to follow that up here in the seventh. Jacob Newton will lead off, followed by Vinny Catanza and Pedro Rivera.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little early.
Jacob Newton will lead it off. He's 2 for 2 today and walked his last time up. Scored 2 runs, including his last plate appearance, which came on the ground out by Rivera. Well, for what it's worth, as Weiss's first offering misses. Rhett Willis has stopped throwing. He is just kind of standing up in the bullpen now, so it makes me wonder if he's just ready and he doesn't want to wear himself out because there's still a half inning to go here. And there is one other Panther stretching in the bullpen, but not throwing just yet. Look to see who that is, and that's Gabriel Ferrer, who's an infielder, so he's probably just staying loose. So, more than likely, we will see Rhett Willis pitch the 7th inning for Florida Tech. And what a line for Colin Costello today. 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 3 3 walks, 7 strikeouts on 111 pitches. As Newton will chop that one foul down the line. Cowan in line for his first victory of the season. That should bring his ERA down to around 3. And you look at the lines so far for Cowan. The opening start against his first start, I should say, was the second game against North Georgia. 5 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts in that game. Against Wingate, 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. In Spring Hill last week, 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. So Cowan starting to settle in comfortably as that number 2 starter, or your Saturday number 1, as they would say. Andrew Marshauser, definitely your Friday night number 1. Makes you just think how much health played a part last year. I'm sure Cowan probably wasn't right at some point last year. Most pitchers rarely are. Andrew Marshauser went down early last year, and that really kind of threw the rotation into disarray behind Ty Cohen. You had him, and then guys were being thrown into positions that they weren't used to. But there's a clear Friday 1. Cristello's becoming a Saturday 2, or a Saturday 1. And things are starting to even out for Florida Tech after that tough opening weekend against North Georgia. They've looked much better since. Three-two on the way to Newton outside, ball 4. Jacob Newton has 2 singles today and 2 walks today. Brings up Vinny Catanza. Catanza struck out looking. Had a sacrifice in the 3rd. Singled in the 4th to bring home Maris. Would later score on the Earhart error. One more game after this. Game 2 will be 30 minutes following the conclusion of this one. No one misses plenty outside. Panthers will then be off till Wednesday when they host Davenport out of Michigan. It'll be a 6 p.m. first pitch. We'll have it for you right here. Small lead for Newton at first with Allewine holding him on. Breaking ball in for a called strike. Just the midweek game against Davenport coming up. And then next weekend it'll be Friday night at 6 against Eckerd on the road at the Turley Athletic Complex, and then a doubleheader next Saturday at 1 against the Tritons. They'll follow that up with a game on Monday, March the 4th in Winter Park against Malone University. Then that following Wednesday the 6th, they play at Flagler in St. Augustine. Catanza will slice this foul and out of play. 2-2 the count. Then they have a non-conference weekend series on March 8th and 9th against Bridgeport. They'll welcome in Winona State on Tuesday the 12th here. It'll be a 3 p.m. first pitch. Then down to Nova Southeastern on March 15th and 16th. This could be 2. Second for 1, the turn to first. And the throw got away from Allewine. And Catanza's going to dig for second, and he'll get in there. So they erased Newton on the force, and then Durr's throw of first was wide. That'll bring up Pedro Rivera. I think Vinny had beaten the throw anyway, so probably say that the error there by Freitas allows him to go to second. Rivera had a sac fly in the first, single to right in the 3rd, and had an RBI ground out in the 4th. 2 RBIs on the day for Petey. So E4, allowing Catanta to go to second. I know the count. As mentioned, they have the trip to Nova Southeastern on St. Patrick's Day weekend, the 15th and 16th. The following weekend, they go to Daytona Beach to take on Embry-Riddle. That'll be on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so 1 game a day. March 26th, they'll host Flagler here, and then they'll conclude the month up in Milledgeville, Georgia, against Georgia College and State. Certainly, Eckerd away has always been tough for Florida Tech. Rivera swings and misses 1-2. And going to Nova is never a treat. And Embry-Riddle has proven to be a very tough out, even when they were still working their way into the league before they were officially a competitive member. But when they were playing a regular conference schedule, they still were very tough. And no road series is ever easy in conference. But March could be where Florida Tech make their move, maybe work their way into the middle of the pack of the SSC and nip a tournament spot. Two-hopper to first, Alleyline underhands to Weiss. They just do get Rivera at first for the second out. Back to the top of the order for Rodney Bernard. Rodney's average almost near 530 on the season, thanks to the 2 hits he's added today. Reached on an error by Earhart his last time up. He tries to take that the other way. It's going to be foul down the right field line and into the bleachers at Rick Stotler Field. Brett Willis starts to throw again in the Panther pen, I think, just to stay ready. So my guess is we've probably seen the last of Colin Cristello today, and we'll see Brett Willis for the 7th inning. That misses upstairs. 1-1. So Colin in line for his first victory of the season. That's got to feel good for him. Tough 2018, and had some solid starts here in the early going, just hasn't been rewarded for it. And then to do it today against the #1 team in the country, what a boost that's going to be for Colin. One and two the count now to Bernard after chopping that one foul down the third baseline. Weiss works from the third base side of the rubber and deals, and almost have a carbon copy there. We'll do it again at 1 and 2. Nova Southeastern leading Embry-Riddle 12-3, bottom 8 there in Fort Lauderdale. Bottom of the 9th at St. Leo. Lynn have a 4-3 lead on St. Leo, but the Lions have the winning run on with 1 out. The tying runs at second. We'll keep an eye on that one. That one's in the dirt, and a good block by McDonald to even the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. It's gone final in Lakeland. Barry take game 1 of the doubleheader today, 8-0 over Florida Southern. Got the schedule today. We'll see if that's a... So Barry have clinched a series win. Won 8-5 last night and win 8-0 in game 1 today. So they're going for the doubleheader sweep. And Columbus State, an 8-0 winner over Rollins. That is just the 3rd loss of the season for the Tars. And Columbus State have clinched a series win as Bernard Fowl tips that into the glove of McDonald. And that ends the 6th inning, and the Panthers kept off the board for a 2nd time. No runs, no hits. 1 Spartan error, and 1 left. We go to the 7th. Your score is Florida Tech 14, #1 Tampa 2. We'll be back in 60 seconds. This is the Florida Tech Sports Network. Folks, I thought I'd heard all kinds of bullpen entrance songs, but I think Rhett Willis just redefined the entire genre. He comes in to start the 7th inning as the Panthers lead 14-2. I've heard rock songs and country songs and techno songs for relievers. Nope. Beauty and the Beast soundtrack. First batter he'll see is McDonald. That's upstairs for ball 1. For Rhett, this is his 2nd appearance of the season. Inning in a 3rd. This is his only other appearance. Gave up a hit, a run, and a walk in that. That one right back up the middle. Very nearly got Rhett. And Tampa have the leadoff man aboard here in the 7th. You see Mangrum here. He'll be followed by Durr and then Freitas. Willis's only other appearance came last weekend against Spring Hill. And that was actually last Sunday in the 13-2 win. Brett came in and got the final inning and a 3rd of that game. Wasn't credited with a save. It was a 13-2 game and only pitched an inning and a 3rd. If he had pitched 3, he would have got it. But so for it, this will be his first appearance in a week. Figure here, if you're Greg Berkemeyer, you had to go to the pen last night. If the second game later today is close, you want to have everybody available that you could possibly go to. And then you've got a couple days off before Davenport where your bullpen will be heavy again. But I think ideally, if you're Greg Berkemeyer and Jeff Tam, you'd like for Rhett to get the last 9 outs of this game and then have all hands on deck and potentially go for a historic sweep of Tampa in Game 2. Got the Cosmos ice cream truck out here once again. We had that back on the opening weekend against North Georgia, and I've been seeing people. I saw it during the opening series, and I'm seeing it again today. And folks, let me tell you, that's exactly where I'll be in between games. Actually, I had one of those after our North Georgia night game was over. They know what they're doing there. Mangrum looks at strike 3. First strikeout of the day for Rhett Willis. 1 gone. That'll bring up Durr, who is 2 for 3 on the day. He has singled in each of his last 2 appearances. So the final line for Colin Cristello today, and it's a good one. 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, 1 third, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts on 111 pitches. First win of the season. Kind of wondering there what role the wind was going to play because it has just picked up. The Panthers are really tempting fate. And activity now in the Panther bullpen, and it's a lefty. And it's Jordan Murray who's getting loose for Florida Tech. I get the feeling he's going to pitch the 9th inning regardless. As Boozer goes and has a word with Justin Lorenz. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to pitchman. Tampa have plated 4 here in the 8th. Lorenz from the first base side of the rubber has his sign from Maris. Allywine starts his lead at second. The pitch. Off the end of the bat to third. Eldridge is there. Throws across. It's there. And that ends the 8th inning. But the Spartans have made this a game. Thanks to the grand slam from Cole Perry. 4 runs, 2 hits, no Panther errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's Florida Tech 14, number 1 Tampa 12. We'll be back. This is the Florida Tech Sports Network. Florida Tech now need the insurance runs. We start the bottom of the 8th inning. They lead Tampa 14-12. Jerry Durney here with you on the Florida Tech Sports Network, and it's become a game thanks to a grand slam off the bat of Cole Perry. In the top of the 8th inning, Jacinto Arredondo starts his second inning of work. Alec Eldridge to lead off, followed by Blaze Maris and Jacob Newton as Alec fouls off the first offering from Arredondo. Alec walked in the first and scored. He has struck out in his next 3 plate appearances. We mentioned Jordan Murray had started to throw in the Panther for Florida Tech. I want to give Ryan Elaine all the room to work with in the 9th. Newton hits this to left. It sends Torrealba back to the track, but he'll make the catch. Eldridge has to retreat. There's 2 away. Now to bring up Vinny Catanza. He's 1 for 2 today. Singled and scored in the 4th, sacrificed in the 3rd, struck out in the 1st, and he hit into a fielder's choice his last time up. Due up for Tampa in the top of the 9th will be McDonald, Mangrum, and Durr. All 1 to Catanza. It's going to be such a confidence-boosting win for Florida Tech if they can hang on here. Above all, you'd be clinching a series win in conference in your first conference series of the year against the number 1 team in the country. That's line to center. Backing up on the play is Blair. He makes the catch, and Eldridge's leadoff hit goes by the boards. Well, the captain has turned on the turbulence sign. Buckle up. Top of the 9th, the Panthers lead by 2. It's McDonald, Mangrum, and Durr to face Ryan Elaine. For Ryan Elaine this year, this will be his 5th appearance. He is 0-2 with a 5-1 whip. He does have 2 saves, including last night's game. In 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 5 walks, 9 strikeouts, and opponents are hitting .231 against him. We mentioned the final line for Justin Lorenz, an inning and a 1/3, 2 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, no strikeouts on 37 pitches. Thank again one more time our sponsors who make Florida Tech Panther baseball possible, our Platinum Panther partners of the Broken Barrel Tavern, Florida Today, Hometown News, Maverick Multimedia, Mercedes-Benz Porsche Audi of Melbourne, and SCB Media Group. Our Golden Panther partners of Berman, Hopkins, Wright, and Laham, Bisque Education, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Frog Bones, Health First, Marco's Pizza, Meg O'Malley's and Hemingway's, National Management Resources, Old School Pizza, Tom Stewart at Pepsi, Satcom Direct, Southern Janitor Supply and Service, and University Center Imaging Medical Technology Transfer. Our Silver Panther partners of Baker's Sporting Goods, Boeing, Central AC, Cumulus, Domino's, the Duran Golf Club, Hilton Doubletree, Hilton Rialto, Jersey Mike Subs, and the Marriott Courtyard and Residence Inn. Our Bronze Panther partners are the Art Lab, Crown Plaza, Fairfield Inn and Suites, Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Holiday Inn Express Melbourne, Jacobus Fielding, the Kiwi Tennis Club, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Off the Tracks and Tequila Azul, Phantom Productions, Ryan Reporting Incorporated, Sandpiper Sportswear, SeaDeck, Senatech, and Walmart. And our general partners are Carroll Distributing, Mike Erdman, Flamio Wealth Management, Hooters of Melbourne, Long Doggers, Southern Janitor, and USSI Global. Here we go. McDonald to lead it off against Ryan Elaine here in the top of the ninth. And the first pitch to the Spartans catcher is low for ball one. Came in as a pinch hitter in the fifth and hit into a fielder's choice that ended the inning. Singled to right center to lead off the seventh, where the Spartans scored 6. Flashed the bunt there, and it was over his head, 2-0. This was a 14-0 game going to the sixth. It was 14-2 going to the seventh. 6 in the seventh and a grand slam in the eighth. Donald couldn't get the bunt down there, and it's 2-1. For Florida Tech, it's the same defensive alignment and everybody playing back, especially Newton in left. Misses low, ball 3. Newton in left, Gronberg in center, Catanza in right. On the infield, it's Eldridge at third base, Pedro Rivera at shortstop, Rodney Bernard at second, Jacob Boozer at first. And that's a called strike. Throws McDonald. Wow. Payoff pitch. 2-hop to first. Boozer is there. He'll call a lane off. And there's the first out of the ninth. So this is some big news coming in. The Panther softball team playing across county today over at Vieira as part of their tournament. And they were taking on number 3 North Georgia. And what did Melanie Murphy do? Just a perfect game. Boy, and just when Melanie Murphy couldn't have had a better time at Florida Tech, and how good she's been since the day she stepped foot on campus, that might be the coup de grace, as they say. A perfect game against the number 3 team in the country. Florida Tech have won 12 straight. Val Silvestrini's got a very special ball club. 1-0 the count here to Mangrum. Make it 1-1. Elaine working from the first base side of the rubber. The senior kicks and deals. Off the end of the bat, that'll be foul before Eldridge can get there. 1-2. It's 4:45 in Melbourne, and at about 3:30, I don't think anybody think we'd be here. 14-12 the score. Elaine is ready, brings the glove to the belt. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 2 away. And for Tampa, it all comes down to the bat of Nick Durr. Might have been a slider there from Elaine that Mangrum just could not catch up to. That's his second strikeout of the day. And he is 0 for 5. First one in the dirt to Durr is a ball. Durr struck out swinging in the second, singled to short in the fourth, singled in the sixth and scored, flew out to right in the seventh, and then grounded out to Eldridge in the eighth. Alain's 1-0. In there for a called strike. I tell you, there is just a look in the eye of Ryan Alain right now. It says the buck stops here. You just see the way the ball's coming out of his hand. He's not going to let it happen to him. The 1-1 in the dirt, and that actually knocked the mask off Maris. Ray Chamberlain's going to buy him some time there to get regrouped. 2-1. Sam Freitas is on deck if Durr reaches. It's been the bottom of the order that's caused them trouble. 2-1. Another called strike, and the Panthers are one strike away. Alain is ready. He comes set. Working from the first base side of the rubber, has his sign from Maris. The 2-2. Off the end of the bat and into right field, and that'll drop. It's a base hit for Nick Durr. And the Spartans have the tying run to the plate with 2 out in the top of the ninth. Who would have thought in the top of the sixth inning this is where we'd be? So here's Sam Freitas. Came in the sixth. Grounded out to Cristello in that inning. Singled to right in the seventh. Singled to center in the eighth. Maris gives the sign, and the first pitch is low and away. Every pitch at this point feels like heart surgery without anesthetic. You just want to get to that 27th out. The 1-0 from Alain, and Freitas went through on that one, 1-1. Leading on deck is Danny Blair, who has reached in both of his appearances, and you'd rather not have to face him. Outfield playing almost to the warning track. Boozer will hold the runner. Alain's pitch. In the dirt for ball 2. Wind continuing to blow from right to left at about 12 to 15 miles per hour. We've had a couple of gusts higher throughout the afternoon. Ronberg shading ever so slightly towards left center. Alain's 2-1. Letter high for a called strike 2, and again the Panthers are one strike away. Trying to get and clinch a series win over the number 1 team in the country. Can Ryan Alain get one more strike? The short lead for Durr at first. Alain's pitch. Swing and a miss! He struck him out, and the ball game is over! Ryan Alain says, "Don't worry, I got it." He does. The Panthers survive, and they have clinched a conference series win over the number 1 team in the country, but they took the long way to get there. Up 14-0 in the fifth. They win 14-12. We'll take a break and we'll come back to recap this one, and we'll have all the stats for you. And then we'll get ready for game 2 of the doubleheader and the third and final game of this series. Your final score for game 1 this afternoon is Florida Tech 14, number 1 Tampa 12. We'll be back shortly. This is Panther Baseball on the Florida Tech Sports Network. Well, I think regardless of however this season may play out from here on out, this is unquestionably the game of the year. The Panthers clinch a conference opening series win against the number 1 team in the country, but boy, did they make it a lot more interesting than it had to be. They survived today 14-12. So we'll knock down the fourth wall a little bit. Normally when we get to this point, we usually do an inning by inning recap. There's way too much to do that because Game 2 is scheduled for a 5:30 first pitch. I think the umpires need a break. I think both teams need a break. I know us up here need a break. Quite frankly, I think all the parents and fans probably need a little bit of a break as well. So 5:30 p.m. for Game 2. And I think everybody just kind of needs to regroup after what a wild game that was. So in the first inning, Florida Tech actually worked out of trouble. Tampa had 2 on. They were able to strand both. And that's where it started from there for Florida Tech. Rodney Bernard led off with a double that hit the warning track and left. He went to third on a wild pitch. James Gronberg walked. Jacob Boozer would then single to right. That would bring home Bernard to put Florida Tech in front. Dylan Owens then followed with a single to right center. That would bring home Gronberg to make it 2-0. Alec Eldridge and Blaze Maris then walked. Jacob Newton then followed with a single just out of the reach of the shortstop Earhart. That would bring home Jacob Newton. At that point, it was 4-0. I should say that Boozer came in to score on the walk to Maris. Vinny Catanza struck out looking. Pedro Rivera then had a sacrifice fly to left. Rodney Bernard would fly out to right to end the inning. At that point, it was 5-0, and you felt good. And we even said at the time when we came on air that even in the first inning, we were all looking around saying, hey, 5-0 in the first inning against Tampa is nothing. Sometimes you hate when you're right. The second inning, the Panthers would tack on another. James Gronberg led off with a single to center. He would move to second on a 1-6-3 putout. Jacob Boozer lined one off of